The Dads That Game radio podcast is brought to you by Video Games Monthly. Video Games Monthly is a monthly subscription service that delivers retro video games to gamers who own classic gaming systems from the 1980s through 2000s. And the best part is, you keep the games. Check us out at videogamesmonthly.com.
Live from his wife's basement, still gaming into their elder years. This is the Dads That Game radio podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wolf and William Small.
Welcome to the Dads That Game radio podcast. Sorry, got broken there for a minute.
Whoa,
yeah,
broken.
I did. I was broken. I was a broken machine. So, despite of my rage, I am still just this rat in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Smashing pumpkins. Good stuff. All right, moving on. Welcome to the show. Obviously, we are the Dads That Game. I'm Michael Wolf. With me, as always, is William Small. Hi, buddy. Yep. Hello. Hey. How's it going? You have a good week?
I did. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I did. It was a fun E3 week. Obviously, if you listened to last week's show, we talked about obviously the first part of E3, and this show we're going to finish up the coverage of E3. So another E3 in the can, literally, because I kind of felt that way about some of the conferences. They should have been in the can. Yeah. Some were good. Some were mixed bags. Some were interesting. And then some I had no idea. Yeah, some I had no idea that they were going to do what they did, but they did. We'll talk about it today. Yeah. So obviously this is part 2 of our E3 coverage. So like I said, E3 is done. If you tuned in last week, we talked about PlayStation. Well, we talked about Microsoft, and we talked about our good old buddies that we love to hate, EA. This week we're going to be talking about Bethesda, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Devolver Digital, Sony, and Nintendo. I have a feeling you're going to rant about Nintendo, but two each his own.
No, I have nothing but nice things to say.
To each his own.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously we'll start the show off with, giving our little spiel. Make sure you check us out, www.noobsandpros.com. Click on the tab that says the podcast. You'll be able to find the show there. We have links there to iTunes and Podbean, I think. Pretty sure we do. Also, check us out Thursday nights on the Podcast Radio Network. Visit their website, www.podcastradionetwork.com. I don't even know if that's their website. I just know you can use their apps. You can use the Crikey app, KRYKEY. Tune it to 102.6. You can also use the TuneIn app. All you have to do on the TuneIn app is just search for the Podcast Radio Network. You can find our show 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to our friends at Player One Coffee. Make sure you visit their website, www.playeronecoffee.com. And then when you check out, if you'd like 5% off your first time order, just type in the promo code DADSThatGame, and we'll hook you up on that. Interesting week. Obviously, this is the Super Bowl of all video games. So we got done with it. We're tired. We're probably a little moody because I kind of felt like there was a lot right this year, but then there was still a lot wrong. So
so much right, but the wrongs were like glaringly wrong.
Yeah. So we'll get into it today. Just very interesting. We don't have a ton of time to waste, but I am going to go over obviously games of the week. I did want to mention a game because we were at Battlegrounds yesterday. If you guys are in the Midwest. Yeah, we're Midwest. If you're in the Iowa area, though, every third Saturday of the month, we throw a little shindig called Battlegrounds, and it's basically all the fighting games you could ever imagine, jam-packed into one area, and we're trying to build that right now. So if you guys are in Iowa, or if you're listening to this podcast and you're from that area, or if you want to travel down, feel free to come down, or just check out our information on noobsandpros.com. We will have everything posted up there. So make sure you check that out because we're always trying to bring stuff in. We're trying to grow it and try to make it bigger. This was, I think, our 4th or 5th time doing this, and it's growing. It really is. I mean, I would say we do this from 5 to midnight. Interesting thing though is like nobody really like starts showing up until like 8 o'clock. So it's like we're kind of like slow. Like people will come in and out, you know, from like 5 to 8, and then like 8 o'clock, like all the 20-year-olds come out. So I don't know if that's just the time. So like, we have a ton of people like just bombard us like from like, you know, like 8 to midnight. So it's very interesting sometimes. Yeah. So either that or that's when I guess parents put their kids to bed and come out. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm glad people are coming out. I really am. It's fantastic to see everybody coming out. So, but then we were playing a game yesterday. The reason I brought that up is because we were playing a game yesterday that is just, it's a lot of fun, but I didn't realize how long this game was. But it's still super fun, and I'm going to make it the game of the week. But Diver Valhalla, it's on Nintendo Switch. I think it's on other platforms as well. A lot of fun. It's a really lot of fun. I mean, it's basically like you're these kind of spirits that inhabit, you know, these Nordic characters. And you can unlock more Nordic characters as you go along. It's kind of hack and slash, like kind of. It doesn't really have a lot of variety of the things it has you do, because like you go through these maps and like you either protect shrines or you have to, you know, kill so many waves of enemies, or you basically there's a boss fight. I mean, it's kind of like rinse and repeat that over and over again. But the game is amazing though. Like it has a skill tree system. It has a combat system that's really neat. I mean, it's really, really fun. So I would definitely say that's going to be the game of the week this week. So definitely go check it out. And then I'm going to go over game and release, and then we're going to jump right into it because there's so much. Obviously, if you guys didn't watch E3 and are listening to the podcast, we want to catch you up on. So we'll start with all the conferences, kind of give our 2 cents. I'll let Will tell his real opinion about the Nintendo conference, and then we'll go from there. So obviously, starting today, which would be the 17th, going through the 23rd, which is next Saturday, you can get yourself Ink on the 19th on Nintendo Switch. I think that has been up before. That's been on PS4, Mac, PC. So it's coming over to Switch. A Story of a Band on PC. That actually looks interesting. It's a real story of a band. Wow. And you play like the sound tech engineer. I may have to get that one. There's also Yuku's Island Express on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. The Lost Child on Nintendo Switch. That's it for the 19th. On the 20th, you can get yourself Grab the Bottle on Nintendo Switch. What is that about? That looks amazing.
I don't know, but it sounds like...
Yeah. Seriously, it's a
it sounds like a game about drinking. Grab the bottle.
It's a puzzle game, but grab the bottle. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we can pull that sucker up. Grab the bottle. As you hear me typing. It's on Steam right now. Let me see if we can. I'm gonna play a little video here. Let's see. Grab it. Oh, yeah, it's a total puzzle game. Obviously, you can't hear anything going on right now, but. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's like you're the Incredible Plastic Man, and you have to basically go around a room and trigger certain events so you can grab the bottle. Interesting. All right, moving on. Next on, that's it for the 20th, actually. So the 20th, Grab the Bottle gets its own game. I cannot pronounce this name for the life of me. I don't care if you make fun of me. It's fine. Musynx, Musynx. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Musynx. All right, I'm going to stop. All right.
Just keep saying it over and over again until it makes sense or confuses you.
Musynx. Okay, that's enough. That's coming out on the 21st on the Switch. Also, you can get yourself Lost in Harmony on Switch, Drawful 2 on the Switch, Minecraft, finally, on the Switch, Mario, and that's it for the 21st. And then on the 22nd... I did not know that game was coming out so soon. It is June. Shoot, I was not paying attention. Mario Tennis Aces, finally coming over on the 22nd. May have to grab that one. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana on the Switch. If you ever played the Ys series. Wise. It's not Ys. Wise 8.
Well, it's pronounced Ys.
Ys, gotcha. Well, I was close. And that's actually that's next Tuesday. I'm sorry, I was jumping the gun there, getting too excited. So actually, you can finish your week out with Mario Tennis Aces, which I've heard from a lot of people. They said they really like it. They were playing the tournament, and
Tennis Aces one.
Yeah, they said it's not too bad. I mean, because I remember when they released that game on the Wii U, and it was just horrible because they didn't put in the quirkiness or the power ups or anything like that. It was just basically a tennis game. So this one has all the cutesy things that you can do and all kinds of fun. But yeah. So, also, if you guys are out there too, there is if you guys are obviously interested in the new game, what is it, Project Octopath Traveler? I did want to give a quick shout out to them because they do have a new demo available now. Definitely go check it out. It's apparently amazing. I'm actually going to play it today. So
yeah, and not only is it a demo, but it's one of those timed ones where you can play the game for X amount of time. And whatever you do, because it's a prologue, so whatever you do in the demo carries over to the real game.
Very cool.
So it's actually really worth it if you plan on getting the game. Just play the demo now, and you'll get kind of a little bit of a head start.
Nice. I'm gonna actually go check it out today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. But let's like I said, we have so much show because like I said, we're done with E3, another E3 in the.
We're definitely done with it.
We're definitely done, yeah. But I mean, just so much news coming out of E3, obviously this year. I would say a lot of news I'm disappointed by. A lot of news that I wish was there, and that's why I was said that I'm really disappointed. But I mean, a lot of cool things too. So. Let's just jump right into it. Obviously, we'll pick up where we left off. So, obviously, we talked about Microsoft. We talked about EA. The next, obviously, topic we have to cover is Bethesda. If you guys, like I said, if you listened to our show last week, we recorded like right when I would say Sony got done with their. No. I'm sorry. When Microsoft was done with their press conference, we then recorded the show. And then Bethesda was that night. So this is literally like picking right up like in the order of that, in the order that we left it off of. So obviously Bethesda I don't even know how to describe it, I guess. I mean, so basically Bethesda started their conference. Andrew WK came out on stage, and obviously if you don't remember who, Andrew WK is, he's the kind of heavy. He's not even really heavy metal. I would say more rock and roll, but just like party rock. I don't know. That's kind of how he's described himself.
That's his whole thing.
He likes to party.
He likes to party.
Yeah. Let's get a party started. I'm not even going to start. But he came out, and obviously he's doing the soundtrack, apparently, or one of the songs to Rage 2, which I thought was funny the way they introduced Rage 2. Because he came out and he was like, well, let's start it off with a game that we thought was secret, but thank you, Walmart, for ruining this. Walmart Canada, that is. So they started off with Rage 2, which was really funny the way he started it with. But they said this time around it's obviously going to be, you're going to be Walker. Your character's name is Walker. He's the last ranger of the Wasteland. They said it's an open world shooter. Which apparently seems to be a pattern. Battle Royale and open world shooters, I think, are going to be the only two genres available to the gaming industry in the next 5 years. It just seems
let's not be confused with shared world shooters.
Sure, but I just think open world, shared world, and Battle Royale. Like, I think those. Well, I think that's it. I think those are the only games. Like, I don't know if we'll see single player games again. I hope.
I mean, I think that Rage 2 is for the most part, I believe it's a single player game.
I gotcha.
And it just has it's a big open world shooter. I mean, the first one was kind of open.
Not really, though. I mean, because honestly, like the first one was like super. It was. I would say it wasn't though, because I remember the first one. It was like, it was just one huge area. Like it wasn't really a world. Like it felt very. No. It felt very linear because it's like. You would go from like point A to point B, and then like point B would open up into its own area. So like it had, when you went on a quest, like it's like, okay, go over there. You would drive the same path, and then when you get there, it's like that area that you got into, like it would load, and then you'd be like in a new map and stuff like that. So this one, it just seems interesting to see what they're doing with this one because it's an open world shooter. Right. They said it's a seamless open world, so you're going to be able to go wherever you want, which is nice, hopefully without a bunch of loading screens. I don't know. I'm excited. I loved Rage. Obviously, it was a fantastic game.
Too. Yep.
This one, obviously, if they take the same formula and just upgrade it, I think they're gonna have a winner.
Is this by the same people that did Mad Max?
I don't know.
I think one of the companies is one of the ones that did Mad Max, because I wasn't really a big fan of that.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It was just kind of, for as big and open as it was to drive around, there wasn't much going on, and that's the only fear I have with this.
Sure.
Anytime they say open world, I just feel like there's a lot of open empty.
I would hope not. I mean, this is, I don't know. I mean, I think that was the reason why you had a vehicle in this one, is to kind of bypass, I guess, I don't
drive
know.
Around.
Well, I would say monotony, just basically making it boring. Because, I mean, you could, in the first one, you could upgrade your car, you could do all kinds of cool stuff. There was quests.
You could do the races and everything.
Yeah, you could do races, and then there was, stuff that you could, unlock, or stuff that you can find when you're driving around in your car, and hopefully they'll do the same thing. But I don't know. I have a lot of promise for that game, obviously. But they said that game's coming out spring of 2019. So, like I said, if you guys caught our live stream, which we're trying to get that going more often, we're actually going to try to start doing that every Wednesday. We're going to have a live show with Noobs and Pros. Well, we are Noobs and Pros, but with Brian, and then, other guests as they come along. So tune into Facebook. Just go to Facebook, obviously, and look for Noobs and Pros, and you can find our live streams. We do a lot of streaming on there now. So we're going to start doing that. But that was the one thing we did talk about on the live stream, is I don't want to see a lot of games without a release date. And honestly, like if we see a video game that's past next year's E3, like why even have it this year?
Exactly.
So we were kind of talking about that, and I mean I would say this year really, I would say last year was really bad about that, but I would say this year wasn't terrible. So some of it was, not all of it though. But they said spring of 2019 that game should be out, so hopefully it doesn't get delayed, but we'll see. And then they went right into the Elder Scrolls Legends, obviously the card game. They said there's brand new visuals. Obviously it's going to be available on Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. It's available on PC right now. I have played it. I don't hate it, but it's a Hearthstone game. It's a card-based game, so I would say this one's a lot more interesting because they do a lot more strategies with the lanes of how you attack with the cards and things like that. They have a lot of different fun visuals and different things that they do with that. And then they talked about the Elder Scrolls Online, the summer set, available now. They're pushing 11 million players. I did not realize that. Those are World of Warcraft numbers, man. So, and then apparently they're getting a new, I guess, expansion coming up called Wolf Hunter. We'll see where that goes. I was super into Elder Scrolls Online until they did the skill tree wipe. It made everybody reset all their stuff, and I was so ticked off. I was like, screw this. So, and I never went back, and I never have. So
I just get bored with. I mean, I know that a lot of people really like the card battle games. I just get bored really quick with them, and then just don't want to do it.
I don't mind Hearthstone. I like the free stuff Hearthstone is doing. So this one's not bad either. It just, like I said, I would agree with you. I get bored, and the same thing with Elder Scrolls Online too. I'm not super into MMOs anymore. Like, it's just not my thing. So they're fun. It's just, like I said, it's just not something that I enjoy as much as I used to. Used to be super under WoW, and I played Rift, and I played that one, and just, obviously.
I just tried to play WoW again just to see if I maybe, if I could do, like, with the new expansion that's coming out, because it sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I realized that I'm just over it.
Yeah. That happens.
I think I can't do it. I want to, I think
I could do it. I just can't devote the time to it like I used to. So, because back in the day, obviously, when I was in college, I really didn't have, obviously, the physical. Well, I had financial responsibilities, which I had covered, because I worked during the day. I went to school at night, and then, obviously, because my body could still take it, I would, play games from 10 to 2 in the morning, get up at 6, and do it all over again. But I just, obviously I'm older now. I have a, daughter, I have a wife. It's just not for me anymore, unfortunately. And I know a lot of families that still play, so I think it's still cool that families can do it together, but I don't live in one of those families, so it's all good. But then, they came out and obviously announced a brand new game that I had no idea I kind of had an inkling that this was going to happen, but it's cool to see that they're doing it. But they're making a new Doom game. It's called Doom Eternal. They said they really don't have a release date or anything like that. So I kind of wonder where this game's obviously going to fall on the spectrum of being released. But they said obviously at QuakeCon, which is this August, they were going to show more. So, and for those of you who don't know, Bethesda is really like if you watch the stuff for QuakeCon, like Bethesda, obviously that's their con, like BlizzCon is. Like Bethesda is totally behind QuakeCon. So I don't even think that started out that way, but they've been behind it ever since. But they show a lot of stuff at QuakeCon. So Bethesda, I can guarantee you, Bethesda's not done showing stuff. Same thing with Blizzard too. I didn't hear anything from Blizzard this E3, so I'm guessing at BlizzCon. Hopefully they'll have a lot of cool stuff to show. But then they talked about Quake Champions. Obviously that is free to play right now. If you go down and download it from Quake.com, you can actually get it for free, the basic starter pack. I think until tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Then they talked about Prey. It's getting a free update, new DLC called Moon Crash, a new Typhon Hunter, which is a 5v1. Like basically one person is the human and everybody else is the mimic, which would be really cool. It's going to be available on VR as well. And then they went over Wolfenstein, which I was really super excited to hear that they're not done with that series. So obviously June 29th is coming out on Switch. They also have an expansion coming out as well. It's called Young Blood with B.J. Blazkowicz's daughters. So he has twin daughters. Obviously, as you left the second one, spoiler alert, his wife was pregnant. She had twin daughters, and now they're killing Nazis because we want to say F Nazis. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. But also, they're working on a new VR game for that as well. It's called Cyber Pilot, which, cool. And then the big heavy hitter of the night, Fallout 76, which I want to take a minute and talk about. So this is what we know so far. Obviously, with Fallout 76, they said it's going to be multiplayer. They called it a soft core survival game, which is kind of nice to hear because I mean, if you talk about survival games, like let's talk about Ark, let's talk about Rust and things like that. When you get dropped on the map, there's hundreds of players on that same map. So they're trying to take away the sting of that, and this is what they said. I don't know what they're going to do, but they said per dedicated server that they have, they were probably only going to be about 16 to 17 people, roughly. They're going to keep the numbers very, very small per server. I would be okay with that. So, like, basically, you can still enjoy the map. You can still enjoy, obviously, exploring and stuff like that. But then there's always, the threat that you may run into somebody. But it's not like a threat you're just going to spawn in and, 50 people are going to kill you because they've already grouped up together. So it's kind of nice to hear that. But they'll have dedicated servers. There is a collector's edition out there right now. And I do know, last time I checked, that Xbox and the PC version of the collector's edition, which is the T51 Power Helmet with a glow-in-the-dark map, that is sold out. It's a $200 version, too, by the way. Yeah. Last time I checked, I think PS4 was still available, but that was a couple days ago, so it could be sold out as well. But if you get $200 to shell out, if you really, really want it, go for it. I don't know if it's going to be available for retail, but I know on Bethesda it was sold out. But then they put a release date on there, too. November 14th, 2018. It looks promising, but once again, this world, this survival, open world shooter or shared world shooter is kind of, it's the under, I guess, whelming, well, not underwhelming, but I would say the undertold story of this game is it's a shared world shooter. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, I'm excited. Yeah. But I just, like I said, I guess it just depends on how much content's in there.
So, after the fact, they kind of, I forget who it was, but someone was asking them questions, and they gave us a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Because the things that bother me when they talk about it being a shared world that you're going to have to, either work with or work against other people on.
Yeah.
It made me worried. The whole, what's going to happen when I decide I don't want to kill people and they want to, grief me. So they said that a person who kills you, you don't lose your stuff.
Okay.
You don't lose experience. So they can't kill you to take your stuff.
Okay.
And they also said that you can't grief somebody. Like, they can't keep killing you. They said it's going to end up being more like you have to almost enter into a contract where you say, yes, I'm accepting your invitation to fight. So it's almost like like a dueling system.
I got you. It's
from what it sounds
kind of
like.
like World of Warcraft. When you wanted to duel somebody, you would have to
when you're on
permission.
a PvE server.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
you can't just
Go and kill
people without asking.
I got you.
So that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I would say
But-
that would be kind of a selling point for me, because I played Rust. I played the open world, the Wild West one, and it's just you just get grief so hard because people just go and that's what they do, is they're just there to kill you. So I think that would be a better selling point for me, honestly. Like, if I could just go enjoy the world, enjoy whatever missions they have available, build my community, have my friends available, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see myself playing that one.
The only downside from what the other thing they said are the only people to interact with are the other actual human beings that are playing.
Wow, so
there
really
are no
single player.
There's no
aspect of it.
NPCs.
Gotcha. I don't know. We'll see.
So I don't know. It just seems like, how is the emergent story going to happen? You're really just going to be like, hey, I'm going to grab a couple buddies and I'm going to wander around and just kill stuff.
Well, yeah, there'll be stuff to kill, I guess. Zombies and things like that, but I don't know.
And where's the VAT system?
I don't know. We'll find out.
If it's a shared world, you can't stop time and make everybody else pause.
Right. I don't know if they'll still have the VAT system though. Either that or they'll do something else. So I don't think they'll scrap that system though. That's been a part of Fallout forever. So I don't know.
Right.
I guess we'll have to see. The cool part about it I thought was really neat was obviously the nuclear missile sites that you can go and control and nuke other settlements. I thought that was brilliant. And obviously there's other stuff that I think is going to be really cool as well. But
yeah,
I really want to say I'm on board day one about that one, but honestly I think this is going to be I'm going to have to wait and see, because I
want to be on board because I love Fallout.
Well, I love Fallout too.
Worried.
Yeah, I'm worried as well, but I would just say I think it just depends on what kind of group of people you're going to be playing with as well. That's going to be a big maker in that one. But they finished that one off obviously, and then they went into Fallout Shelter, which they said is on PS4 and Switch, which is right now. They talked about Elder Scrolls Blades on iOS and Android, obviously coming out this fall, which is really cool if you're super into Elder Scrolls. And then they dropped the bomb because they said, we are working on next generation video games, meaning next generation systems. They finally announced that they have been making Starfield, which everybody's been really anticipating that game. We saw nothing of it. We just saw the name of the game and that they're making it. And then basically, good old creator of Fallout, what's his name? Todd Howard, I believe. I'm not sure. He came out and basically said that because everybody's been asking for it, we are making it. And they showed The Elder Scrolls 6. So we can confirm that Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6 are being made. But the problem is that it's going to be next gen. It's next generation system. So it's PS5, whatever Xbox is doing next. I'm sure PC, but next gen, I think it's about 4 to 5 years away though. So don't get your hopes up.
Maybe it could even be 2020.
Sure.
So another 2 years.
I don't know though.
They did say that that the Elder Scrolls 6 is currently only in the discussion phase. They're not
even in development.
It's not in production.
Got it.
However, Starfield is playable currently.
Yeah. So Starfield, obviously, we could probably see maybe in another couple of years, but yeah, Elder Scrolls 6, don't hold your breath on it.
I'm thinking, Elder Scrolls 6, we're talking probably 5 more years before we actually see the game.
4 to 5.
We'll be, I guarantee, in 5 years we'll be in the life of the next systems. So
well, and that's where I'm thinking we'll see
that's
it.
How long we're I think that's how long we're going to have to wait.
Oh, I'm sure. I guarantee it. But that was it for Bethesda, and then later that night, Devolver Digital came out and just blew the
Oh my God!
roof off with their absurd conference, which was really funny. It made me laugh like constantly.
Yeah.
But they talk about, obviously there's a new game coming out August 2018. It's called Scum. Looks amazing. If you want to check it out, go to scumgame.com. They also talked about My Friend Pedro, which actually looks amazing as well. And then Metal Wolf Chaos XD are the games that they talked about. The funny thing about their conference, though, is like they just constantly like trolled the general public, because they were talking about loot boxes and they were talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then they said that they started their own loot box. It's called Loot Box Coin. If you want to check it out, go to lootboxcoin.com. And the funny part is that they said like the value of the coin would just go up and down randomly with no reason, because they're making fun of Bitcoin and they're making fun of loot boxes. So basically, if you go to lootboxcoin.com, there is a rubber coin that you can buy. The night of the conference, it started off at $131 for this coin. It then roughly went up to $145, and then it dropped down to $126. And actually, if you give me just 1 second here, I'm actually going to see what the price is right now. So lootboxcoin.com. And it's sold out. So it's no more. But it's basically just like it's a big plastic coin that says Devolver Digital on one more. And then it has the lady's picture on the other side, which is funny. No means is considered you unless you prove. Yeah, it's basically just a plastic coin, and there's no more price tag.
It doesn't do anything. Yeah. You're just wasting money on it.
Right.
It's just to waste money.
It's just to waste money. But there's no more price tags on it, so apparently it's gone.
You probably had to get it then and then only.
Right, but I'm not paying $130 for a plastic coin, so it's
no, that's ridiculous.
So it was really funny though with Devolver. They do crazy things every year. It's kind of like a mock conference, but they have real games obviously coming. They didn't talk about Serious Sam though, which was interesting. I thought that would have been a big key factor for them, but there was nothing about Serious Sam. Nothing. Yeah. So, but whatever. I mean, it happens. Obviously, next was Square Enix. They started off the show with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They said there's a lot more stealth options in this game, which looked really cool. They then went over to Final Fantasy 15 Stormblood, and then also they're getting a crossover with Monster Hunter World. That's going to happen this summer. Talked about Captain Spirit for a minute. They said it's available June 26th, and it's absolutely free. It's a free game. I don't know, worth a check out, I guess. They talked about Dragon Quest II coming over to PlayStation 4 on September 4th this year. Talked about a new game called Babylon's Fall, which looked pretty cool. I didn't really get to see a lot about it or read a lot about it, but I mean, the gameplay looked interesting. Well, it was just the trailer. It wasn't even gameplay. But that will be available next year on Steam and PS4. Near Automata coming out on the 26th on Xbox One. Project Octopath Traveler obviously coming over on the 13th of July, which I'm super, super happy about that one. They talked about Just Cause 4. It was interesting to see the Apex. They're using the Apex engine this time around, which was really cool to see. It was cool because they talked about they're putting in extreme weather. So, like tornadoes and just thunderstorms and all kinds of stuff like that. They said it's basically going to make the game even more interesting. But that's coming out December 4th of 2018, so it'll be a really cool Christmas game. They then showed a trailer for The Quiet Man, which blurs the line to me of what a video game is and what reality is. This looked like reality, like seriously. So it was very interesting to see. I have no idea what the game's going to be about. I don't think anybody does right now, but it looked really, really interesting. And then they finished off their conference with Kingdom Hearts 3, which obviously is coming out January 29th. We saw new gameplay footage of that. That was the biggest thing this year. I would say it was Kingdom Hearts 3. I would say almost every conference had it. So I think people are excited it finally has a release date. That was it for Square Enix. I mean, I thought Square Enix did an okay job. I just thought it was just kind of stupid what they did. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of new stuff. There's a lot of conferences like that, unfortunately. Ubisoft obviously was next. They started off with Just Dance. They went over The Division 2, Starlink, which they're going to put Star Fox in, which I think is really cool. The one thing I did want to throw in about Starlink, though, is I thought there was a rumor going around that they're ditching the plastic toys and just going with the video games, and they're not. They're actually still putting in the plastic toys in this game. So, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it seems weird, but okay.
Well, I think of all the other games out there that had the plastic toys. The only games that I can think of that have been successful, obviously, are the Amiibos, just because they're so, well versatile into all Nintendo games, and Skylanders, just because, I mean, they were one of the first, and they're still out there making games. But, I mean, if you think of, like, Disney's Infinity, that's gone. The Marvel crossover that they did, that's gone. There's just a lot of stuff that gets canceled out, and it's just, I feel like it's a big cash grab. And I mean, trust me, I mean, you're talking to a guy that has over 100 Amiibos. I get it, and I love the artwork on these things. I mean, they're beautiful. I still have a ton of them in their packaging, which ones I think are, valuable. But I opened a lot of them because those are the ones I usually play with. But, I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how successful another toy-based video game is going to be. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I hope it's good, but time will tell, I guess. And if it seems like I'm going fast, I'm going over the smaller conferences so we can actually talk about the bigger ones. I did want to talk in detail about Sony, and I did want to talk in detail about, obviously, Nintendo. And the PC gaming show, I'm not really going to go over a ton. I only got a couple things out of that. I'm not super into a lot of PC gaming stuff out there. So... but with Ubisoft, obviously they went over For Honor again. They said the starter edition is free on PC right now, which actually I downloaded. It's not too bad. I'm actually taking the time to learn how to do the combat this time around. I'm actually enjoying it. It's a really beautiful game.
Yeah.
But they're getting a new DLC called Marching Fire. They had The Crew 2, which they said you can preload the beta now, which is available on 6/21, and then the game comes out on 6/26, which is super weird time frame to have a beta, but whatever. They talked about Mario, Rabbids, Donkey Kong. They talked about The Division 2, which we talked about, obviously, we went over Microsoft. And then they went right into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They said you can choose your character this time around. You can be a male or female protagonist. You can choose dialogue choices this time around, too. That's the first time they've ever done that in an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Very, very cool. That game comes out October 5th of 2018. Ubisoft really didn't have anything that I was super excited about. That was pretty much it. Same thing with PC Gaming Show, too. They have Status Factory, Neo Cabs, Mavericks, The Forgotten City. Maneater game is the only one that I was actually really interested in. It's a game where you're a shark. And
it looks ridiculous.
It looks ridiculous. And there's a skill tree that you can unlock as you go along. But those are, honestly, like I said, I apologize for going quick, but I really wanted to get into the two major ones, so we had enough time going over that. But then, obviously, we go right into PlayStation. I always like, this war between PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo is always interesting to me. Because it seems like one, like certain years, like one has the edge over the other. I don't hate what PlayStation did this year, but I really have to give it to Microsoft with a better conference this year.
They really had the better conference.
They really did. Between all three, if you talk about the three major brands, so Sony, obviously, Nintendo, and then Microsoft, I have to get to Microsoft. I really do, and I hate to do it because usually, I mean, Microsoft's had so many problems in the past, but they really got their stuff together, and they're really trying. So I think it's pretty awesome to see that they're turning it around now. I mean, maybe too little, too late, but they're trying.
I don't hate that we have to say that.
Sure.
In fact, it makes me happy for Microsoft that they understand what they need. They understood what they needed to do,
right?
And that they had a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
Whereas I truly think that Sony
just dropped the mic.
They just dropped the mic. Like I kind of thought they were going to. They go, oh, well, we've sold more consoles than anybody else. There's no way Microsoft will ever catch up.
Yeah.
People love our exclusives. We know they're going to buy them. So we're just not going to really try. We're going to show them extended gameplay footage of things and not show anything that people don't already know about.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, they didn't do anything. And then one of the biggest things that they did do was prove just how much their heads are up their rear ends right now with the whole Fortnite thing.
Oh god.
So,
yeah.
If
you guys don't know what we're talking about, obviously Fortnite came out on Nintendo, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Sony decided to basically lock it to their system.
Yeah.
So if you started off, like, it used to be, like, when the game first came out, like, you could have it cross-platform. So you could have it on your PlayStation, you could have it on your Xbox, you could have it on your PC, and then, obviously, Switch came into it, and it seemed like the day that Switch got into it, Sony decided, no, we're going to lock this. So if you have an account on Sony that you started off with, you try to log into that account on your Switch, it would say, no, unfortunately, this version is not supported. You need to start a new account. A lot of people ticked off about that. So, because the beauty about Fortnite was, it was cross-platform. You could take everything that you earned from one system to the next. People loved it. And, when it seemed like it was the day that Switch got it, Sony decided that they were going to lock it. So, I guess they're, apparently, from what I hear, they're in negotiations to unregion lock it, but I don't know if anything will come of that, like, honestly. So, that's just what I heard.
It's disturbing that no one ever told anybody. So you try to log into your Switch account and say, okay, I just want to, attach this to my Epic account.
Yeah.
And when you log in and it says, oh, this Epic account is locked under a different thing. And, nobody knew that was going to happen, or else a lot of people wouldn't have done that.
Right. It was super, it was a big surprise. It was not
really shady. And then the response that Sony gave was so
smug,
just smug and stupid, and actually said nothing.
Yeah.
So it really, I can't say that Sony did a great job this E3.
Yeah, there was a lot I liked, but there was just a lot that I thought was, like, really kind of pointless. So, and I had a conversation obviously with Brian when we did our last stream about this. I think this is just me thinking, but I think honestly Sony knows PlayStation 5 is being developed. They got to be. So I think honestly this could be their swan song. Like, this could be them winding down, because they know next gen is coming. I would say within the next 3 to 4 years, it'd be surprising not to see an announcement of PlayStation 5. And I think they're just trying to dwindle down, because I would say they're trying not to make the same mistake they did from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, where it's like you had huge AAA games on the PlayStation 3 that were huge. I mean, you're talking Grand Theft Auto 5, you're talking The Last of Us, and then next gen was like, a few months later. So then they had to go remake those games and put them on PlayStation 4, which was smart on their behalf. I mean, they sold more games that way. But I think maybe they're trying, not to push the same mistake. This is just me thinking of, let's put our AAA games out now. Let's let it die, with indie games or lower-end games for the rest of the year. And then let's push out PlayStation 5, and we'll hit them with AAA games again. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're thinking, but it really seemed that way when they were doing their conference. Because, I mean, they did start off with The Last of Us 2, and then they had this weird intermission. So it's like they had everybody in one theater, and they showed The Last of Us 2, Part 2, obviously, which was really cool, and I'm excited for that. It looked very intense. I'm excited for The Last of Us. I don't care what they say about the conference. The game looked amazing. But then they had this weird intermission where they showed stuff in the middle, and then they brought everybody into the main, main part, for the conference, which was two different, stages. And then they showed Ghost of Tsushima, which looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does.
Just unreal. But then they also showed a new game called Control, which looked interesting. It looked like Inception, the movie Inception. It kind of looked like that. So, and then I would say the only thing that blew me away was they showed a game that everybody's been asking for, and they're finally doing it. And I didn't realize it was this close. But they finally announced Resident Evil 2 remake, which everybody lost their damn minds on. Everybody was so excited. At least
Super
it wasn't.
happy.
Yeah, at least it wasn't Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 2, and this one actually has a release date, January 25th of 2019. If you guys want to mark your calendars, it's going to happen. They showed Trover Saves the Universe, Kingdom Hearts 3. Like I said, almost everybody showed Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed Death Stranding, and I don't know how I feel about Death Stranding anymore, because every time I see Death Stranding, a new trailer, I'm more confused from the first time I saw it. So I don't get it. I mean, it's just like, I feel like they have a contract with Norman Reedus to be like, hey Norman, we just want to watch you walk around naked. Like, seriously, like, I feel like that's his contract.
What the hell?
Yeah, seriously. Like, he has a contract to just walk around, obviously, the studio of, Kojima Studios just naked. I feel like that's every trailer they get, it's like just another shot of Norman Reedus naked. So we'll see what comes of the game. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to hate on Death Stranding. I really don't. I think it looks beautiful, but I'm really kind of thinking, a lot of people are thinking this as well, but do you think Death Stranding will even be out on this console generation, or is this going to be next gen? So,
I think it's next gen also. I don't think it's coming out.
A lot of people are thinking that. Yeah, we're not the only ones. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if it actually comes out on this console generation. But I mean, we just heard about this project. I mean, what, a year and a half ago? Because
right,
I mean,
that's why. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like we actually saw real gameplay footage, but I still feel like what we're seeing is high concept, and it's mostly, I think, really just we're seeing what we want to see out of it.
Right.
It's not like not what we want to see, I guess, for real.
Right, like this is footage running on a PC right now. This is not any footage running on a PlayStation. Got it.
And it's also, when you look at it, you go, like you said, every time you look at it, what the hell's going on? Right. What is the point of all this? What is the story?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah. Nobody gets it. Everybody's wondering. It's super confusing.
Yeah. I mean, this is more confusing than Metal Gear Solid sometimes. So at least that had a point A to Z eventually.
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people are thinking. Like I said, that a lot of people are thinking this is not even going to be this gen. Like, this is going to be next gen. Because I mean, you have to figure 2 years ago he had the problem with Konami. A year ago he formed his. 2 years ago he formed his own studio, and then he started. This was his first game that he was going to work on. So I mean, I know he's getting a super amount of support from Sony, because this is an exclusive to Sony. But I have no idea if this is going to see the light of day within the next 3 to 4 years. If you figure normal development time can be anywhere from 5 to 10 years, I mean, to push out a game that quick, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, once again, no release date on that. Like I said, I just feel like every game conference they come with more Death Stranding footage and just leaves you confused. So maybe that's the point. I don't know. It's the ultimate troll, seriously. But then they obviously came out with they showed a little teaser trailer for Nioh 2, which I did not realize was being made, which is super awesome because I love Nioh.
But I still can't. I still haven't finished Nioh because it's too damn hard, and I got stuck. And there's just one boss I cannot kill.
Well, you have time, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see. And then they finished off the conference with Spider-Man, which is looking amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm super excited for Spider-Man, but no word of Bloodborne 2 at all.
No Bloodborne.
No Bloodborne.
No anything.
Yeah. No anything. So I really.
No anything unexpected, I guess. I mean, the things that we saw that were unexpected were all rumors already. They weren't things that really caught people super by surprise.
Right. So I would say overall, I would say PlayStation didn't have the worst conference, but they definitely didn't have the best. So I don't know. Like I said, Sony's kind of been pulling this stuff for the last couple of years. I would say last year, super lackluster. This year, even worse. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that they showed a lot more gameplay footage. This is what we're working on. This is what we're doing, because, I mean, the head of, was it Sean Spicer? Is that the...
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes out and he basically said, we're not really going to show you a lot of, unexpected stuff. We're really just going to show you the stuff that we have, being worked on right now. And it's, going to be available soon, which I respect because, like I said, usually with E3, if it's anything past the next E3, I'm really not going to care about it. But, I mean, it's one of those things. And, I'm sorry, also, I forgot about the Ubisoft conference. They did show Beyond Good and Evil 2. So a lot of people are excited for that
basically
one.
It was basically just another movie.
Sure. But, I mean, it's still being made, and hopefully it will be out in 2019.
It's still being made, and it's still coming along, and they're still doing it. Yep. And, I don't even want to know about it. I don't want to talk about it until it's ready.
Right, until it's ready. Yep. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like I said, I mean, jump back into Sony, obviously. Like I said, like I honestly, it's just how I kind of perceive information right now. Like I honestly think like maybe Sony is realizing that PS5 is right around the corner. They don't want a lot of redevelopment into PS5 because they'd like to do new things. Maybe. I don't know. So we'll see. Because I mean, if I would say like if The Last of Us is your swan song, because The Last of Us came out on PS3, and then what other game came out on PS3 that was Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 Last of Us came out like right at the end of the life cycle for PlayStation 3, and then they ported that over to PlayStation 4. So I don't know if that's kind of them kind of giving the cue of like we're getting off the stage with this. I would say that's a pretty good cue. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let us know obviously if you agree with us or not. I mean, obviously feel free to send us an email or shout out on our Facebook page or anywhere else. You can go to our Podbean page and leave us a comment. I do read them. But yeah, just let us know. So if you disagree or you agree. But like I said, I don't think PlayStation had the best. I don't think they had the worst. I just kind of think it was meh. That's all I got to say. So any thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, I don't want to say they were the worst because the gameplays, the games they showed and the things that they did do were really good. Yeah. They just chose to not bring their A game, and I think they chose on purpose. So we've just lauded Sony with praises over and over and over again because every first party title that they put out gets rave reviews. Just this year alone, every single game that they've released has got 8s, 9s, 10s, whatever, all super, super good games.
Right.
They know what they're doing. And so my issue with them knowing what they're doing, they knew what they were doing going into this conference.
Right.
So, they chose to just kind of mess with us and not do anything great because they don't have to.
Right.
Why give us things that, we don't necessarily need or what they think we deserve at this point when they can just show us later.
Yeah, so, I guess. But I mean, I kind of feel the way you do because I feel like because PlayStation did everything so right at the beginning, like there's really nothing more to prove. Which Microsoft, on the other hand, they've done everything wrong at the beginning, and now they have to play catch up. And they're really, really trying. Obviously, I have to praise Microsoft because they're really throwing the ball back in there. Because I talk to guys from Microsoft all the time, and they said actually their new values, one of their core pillars of what they're really focusing on, like this year and going forward. They said number 5, like they have 5 core pillars of what they're going to focus on. Like number 5 is video games. So they're really, really focusing, like, we know that this is going to make us money. We know we have to do more with esports. We know we have to do more with, competitions or groupings. So I think it's going to be great for Microsoft going forward, which, I mean, PlayStation from the beginning, they're like, yeah, we know, like, this is important. We're going to support it 100% from the beginning instead of basically being like, oh, we're just a media machine or, hey, we're going to make 3 different systems, within a year of each other.
No, I mean, they get it now. Gamers want games. We don't want gimmicks.
Right.
We just want you to give us good,
video games,
solid games.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I thought was interesting is is Cyberpunk, the trailer and everything. That was only shown at the Xbox conference.
Right.
And not only that, but if you look it up, it says currently that it's only coming to Xbox.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just because they only showed it on Xbox.
Sure.
But, I can't I mean, I don't know where we're going next, but I wanted to just step back and say, when we had seen the Microsoft conference the previous week, we had seen the trailer and we gushed about it. We were very excited. But what we didn't realize was then everybody was treated to a almost hour-long hands-off gameplay demo that every single person that has seen it and watched that gameplay demo came away blown. They were blown away.
Yeah.
They just the level of detail, the level of customization. Just it is 100% not The Witcher.
Yeah.
But it is 100% CD Projekt Red.
Well, CD Projekt Red.
The amount of dedication, and and skill and love that they put into their games is apparent. So
very cool.
They didn't have a release date of any kind, but you know what?
I can wait on
the fact that I know it's that good already, I'm very excited.
Well, and that's another game too that I'm kind of thinking maybe next gen, but we'll see.
Yeah. I agree. It's probably going to be another 2 years before it hits the light of day, and at that point, it'll probably coincide with the releasing of the next systems.
Yeah.
So.
But let's finish it off with our favorite, one of our favorite topics that we're screwing up forever, and then they did some weird stuff, and I know Will's a little angry, but it's okay. So let's talk about Nintendo for the last part of the show. We got about 5 minutes here, and then we got to get out of here. But they announced that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is getting an expansion. Torna, it's a new playable area. Looked very cool. Coming out September 2018. Talked about Pokemon Let's Go. Didn't talk anything about the new Pokemon game. They talked about a new Super Mario Party is being made, coming out October 5th, 2018. That looked very interesting because you now have the ability to put two Switches together, and you can play like custom maps and stuff like that from just putting them together. So I have no idea how that works right now, but it looks amazing. They talked about, obviously, their spring 2019 outcoming games here. So obviously Fortnite, which is out right now, you can play Fortnite on your Switch, which I have. It's pretty cool, actually. It's just locked to your Switch and your Xbox account.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't play your PlayStation stuff. Overcooked 2 is obviously coming out August 7th, 2018. Killer Queen Black. If you've never played Killer Queen before, that is a fun arcade game. Dragon Ball Z Fighters Hollow Knight, which is available right now. Octopath Traveler, they talked about. They talked about Starlink, Arena of Valor, Minecraft, Mario and Rabbids. Ark is coming over, and Just Dance is coming over. Another game called Ninjala. And then they decided that they were going to spend the rest of the conference not talking about the new Metroid game because they thought it would be unfair from what an article with Reggie Fils-Aimé says. But they decided to announce Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Interesting thing about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, every fighter in Smash Brothers history will be in it. So you will be able to play Snake again, which is amazing. Wolf, Inkling, boy and girl, and Ridley. So very, very excited to see that. They are making GameCube controllers for the Switch, which is amazing. And that is going to be available December 7th, 2018.
Didn't Brian call that too?
I think he did.
He said that was what he wanted to happen, right? That he wanted every character playable.
Yeah.
And our conversation was that it would be cool if, they gave each one like a skin for whatever system they originally appeared on.
Well, he was talking more like 8-bit retro, but yeah, I think he wanted like every character multiple games is kind of what he was talking about. But like have like retro skins and all kinds of different stuff. So right. I think it's going to be awesome. I don't know. I've been reading a lot of articles this week because they said that this is honestly going to push Nintendo. I think Nintendo realizes how big esports is. And the thing with Nintendo, if you guys don't know, but I know Smash Brothers people know this. Smash Brothers like tournaments and things like that are huge. Like Combo Breaker, everywhere. Like Smash Brothers, like I remember going to Combo Breaker this year and like Smash Brothers had its own room. That's how big these tournaments get. So I know like there's a huge underground for Smash Brothers tournaments. I mean, we even have them here in Iowa, and they turn out big crowds. Like people love Super Smash Melee. They love, playing it. So I think it's going to be amazing to see Nintendo actually get behind this because that's kind of what they're talking about is like they're talking about pushing more esports, maybe putting money behind an actual tournament. like, Fortnite does, or like, Tekken does, or anything like that. But with Smash Brothers. And I think that's I think like this year, if you take all the negative away, the one positive that I can take out of this is that gaming companies are waking up to what the public's into. Especially with Microsoft and especially with Nintendo. Like, they're waking up because they did things their way for so long, and then they realized, people love our stuff. If we support what they're into, we'll be very successful. And they've been fighting it forever because they've been kind of just one mindseted. I think this was an awakening year for a lot of companies, which is it's refreshing to see. So, but I'm excited for Smash Brothers. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I think it's, obviously we'll find out what it's all about when it comes out, but I mean, just for the amount of customization that they put into it and, different items and levels and things like that, I'm not going to hate it. Obviously, we read this article about, rumored games that were coming out to it. Obviously, we were wrong on a lot of stuff, but that happens. But, I mean...
Yeah, that's why they're rumors.
Yeah, that's why they're just rumors, and there's still time, so we'll see.
Yep.
But we got to get out of here. Man, time goes by quick. I told you we didn't have a lot of time to talk today. So, but thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with our regular show. Obviously, these were our special E3 shows, so we'll be out of E3 and we'll be back to regular goofy old dads. But thank you for listening. Obviously, check us out Thursday nights, the Podcast Radio Network. Check out our website, www.noobsandpros.com. Make sure you just click on the tab that says The Podcast, and you'll be able to find our show. So we do love you. We do thank you for listening. And I felt like I talked a lot. I was just reading information.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Ugh. Horrible.
So much talking.
Yeah, horrible.
Okay.
Next week, we'll be back with all new shenanigans. So we do thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Dads That Game radio podcast. Email us your questions and hate mail to dadsthatgamepodcast@gmail.com.